Are we surprised that Trevor Lawrence is out for the season? Not at all. I think this is absolutely a way to sit Trevor Lawrence out for the rest of the season. He just had shoulder surgery. So that's what they were hiding, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe that Trevor Lawrence was 100% healthy all season long. He played because they had a chance to make the playoffs at one point. But without Travis Etienne playing well and his team playing absolutely crap, doggy doo-doo, Doug Peterson looks like he's on his way out. Ownership is going to be looking for a new GM and a new coach, a.k.a. Bill Belichick. I do believe this concussion just set everything off for the organization to sit Trevor Lawrence out for the rest of the season. Now, are they protecting Trevor Lawrence to trade him in the offseason? Who knows? If Bill Belichick comes into office, I could see Bill Belichick going with a veteran quarterback if he plans to win in 3 years. How long is Bill Belichick going to be the coach of the Jaguars if he goes there? I do believe that's where he's heading. Not very long. But I do believe that they have some kind of argument. Now, I don't know a lot about Al-Shaair. I know he doesn't really have any background of really bad suspensions or bad hits. Maybe a couple of things that he's done over the past couple of years, but nothing big. What we've seen Burfict do, what we've seen other safeties do over the years. We've seen Brian Branch do it. He's only been in the league for 2 years. He's done it 3 times in the last 2 years and not been suspended. Maybe the NFL has a love fest for the Lions. Maybe this is what they want to see in the Super Bowl. And suspending Brian Branch, it could hurt your place in getting home field advantage or whatever the NFL thinks. What I do believe right now is the NFL, again, we've talked about this on Monday. They got to figure out what's going on with this turf situation. This turf situation has been an effect not only for head trauma, but knee trauma, with hip trauma, with leg trauma, with foot trauma. I don't know what more I have to say. This is not good to play on. We've talked to different guys. We talked to Bilal Powell, who said that you're faster on turf, but it's more safer on grass. We've talked to other players that said they rather play on turf than they do on grass. But the fact is, I know for a fact I've run on turf. It's like cement. The other day I was on turf on a field, and I was checking out, what people say, feeling the ground in certain spots, especially where the drains are. It is dangerous. I mean, seriously, when a wide receiver goes up in the air, 60 inches, and then lands with the ball on his back or his hip, that friggin' hurts. I can only imagine what these guys are putting their bodies through when they hit the ground. Could you imagine a head hitting the ground as fast as it does? I mean, it's horrible. And that causes more concussions, I believe, than being hit with the helmet or being hit with an elbow or being hit with a knee. So I think the NFL needs to figure this out. Again, I do believe that the NFL is pointing fingers. We can see what they're doing in Kansas City. We've seen they've helped Kansas City all season long, help them win games, give them the opportunity to win games in games that they shouldn't have won. So we know the NFL is all about, helping teams and really sticking to what they believe teams should win and what teams shouldn't win. And that's why the referees play a big dividends. As far as Nick Caserio coming out and saying this, of course he's going to protect his player just as much as we've heard the Lions protect and Campbell protect Brian Branch, saying that wasn't intentional. If you watch the video, it absolutely was intentional. So I don't know what Azeez Al-Shaair absolutely intentionally tried to hurt Trevor Lawrence. It's bull, but it wasn't him hitting his elbow was what caused the concussion. It was absolutely him hitting the pavement and the turf is what caused everything.
Well, yeah, you say that too. At the same time, the same dude had a bad hit on Brady, right? And this dude's sticking up for him.
On the neck, yeah.
And so when you say that, it brings about a lot of stuff that we've seen over time. It's like when you're trying to create the best play you can, and that's kind of what we were talking about with John Morant. Like when you're not your best, so you're telling me a 225-pound linebacker, whoever it is running, and he sees a guy here, and he hasn't given himself up yet. What is he supposed to do? He's a runner at that time. So I'm going to get him. Like, that's what I've been taught to do. That's why I'm in the NFL. And you can't, like, you wanted to let him get it. Oh, and he fakes you out, the fake slide and all the others. Like, I understand what it, and it sucks. Like, I love the game of football. I understand there are repercussions of what it is and how all these guys, like, I mean, you're in car crashes every week. Like, I can never understand that. I will be the first person to admit I will never understand because I didn't play at that level. I didn't get the opportunity because it wasn't the sport I chose or the sport that chose me. But at the same time, you are embedded in what you want to do. He didn't give himself up because they literally showed what it was, and he was only 6 yards apart. And I wish sports science was still around because it would give us a better evaluation of how a gentleman that is running one way at some speed and the other speed, how is he supposed to stop? How is he supposed to? Because what is he taught? He's supposed to tackle legs, right? He gives himself up. So where's he going? He's going low. Well, it just so happens I don't know in his mind. He's like, I want to take his head off. Like, I don't know that. But like hearing guys like Tom Brady say things like this and knowing what he was, I don't understand is how do you combat all this? Like, how do you try and figure it out if it was dirty? And they even said too in multiple shows where they look at their previous targets and the stuff that they've done before, right? But man, if I'm running at you and you're 5 yards away, which is, if you guys know math and whatever, that's 15 feet. I can't stop if I'm running full speed. So I got to get you at some point, right? So either I hurt myself or in turn, sometimes it hurts other people. And I don't like it, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, well, obviously it does.
But I'd rather hurt somebody else than myself. I'm just
Yeah.
going to be honest.
Well, and you know what? He's out. He's out for the season, and I don't think it had anything to do.
I don't want him to get hurt. I'm not saying that.
No, nobody's saying that you did. It's
But
just
give yourself up earlier so they have an
quarterbacks don't do
opportunity to get.
They
Well,
don't do
we're all competitors.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to give up on that aspect too?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I just don't think they're going to give up. They're not going to give themselves up. They're competitors.